2025 was a big year for comic book movies. We got 4 major movies released throughout the year and experienced some high highs, and then there was Captain America: Brave New World. But with 2025 officially coming to a close, I thought it would be fun to go through and rank each of the 4 released throughout the year. Coming in at number 4 of 4, and this is the easiest decision I made, is Captain America: Brave New World. This movie wanted to be Winter Soldier so bad. This film follows Sam Wilson 4 years into his tenure as Captain America as he tracks down a secret plot orchestrated by Samuel Stearns, aka the leader, to turn now President Thunderbolt Ross into the Red Hulk. Oh, and Giancarlo Esposito is in it for like 5 seconds as the leader of the Serpent Society. Starting out with the pros. This is the first movie that takes place in the mainline MCU in almost 2 years. In 2023, we had The Marvels, which did take place on Earth, but was mostly a space adventure. And then in 2024, the only Marvel movie to release was Deadpool and Wolverine, which took place almost entirely in the void. So after 2 years, it was nice to get back to that Marvel world outside your window, and I feel that this movie did a good job welcoming us back to that MCU Earth and filling us in on what's happened, such as having President Thunderbolt Ross and having the plot around the adamantium left from Eternals. Speaking of which, Thunderbolt Ross surprisingly gets a pretty good arc, and Harrison Ford is giving a good performance here. Also, Carl Lumbly is easily the best part of the show as Isaiah Bradley, and the plot around his character is easily the most compelling of the movie. And finally, Anthony Mackie does a good job as Sam Wilson and is a good Captain America. This movie is so disappointing to me because I actually prefer Sam Wilson to Steve Rogers as Captain America. I think he's good in the current Avengers lineup in the comics. Sam's history as a mental health counselor makes him a unique hero who truly does try to connect to everybody. And call me cheesy, but I like that this movie ends with Sam connecting to Red Hulk's humanity. That being said, it really sucks that Sam Wilson has been Captain America for almost 5 years now, and this is the first time we actually see him on the big screen. Which brings us to the many cons of this movie. And there's a lot, so buckle up. This movie starts by bucking the long-held trend of having a red and white Marvel comic book logo, and instead simply has a black and white logo, setting the tone for a interesting political thriller, which would have been great had this movie been a political thriller. Which brings us to the next issue. This movie is so scared to offend anyone or take any remotely political stance whatsoever that it ends up being a chopped, diluted, boring mess of a film. In the interviews for this movie, Anthony Mackie told this story about how his father was told to go pick cotton with his grandfather. And now Anthony Mackie is Captain America. That story single-handedly is more interesting than anything that happens in this movie. And I wish that Marvel would have not been afraid to touch on the significance of Anthony Mackie, a black man, now being Captain America. Thunderbolt Ross turning into the Red Hulk would have been an amazing twist that made this movie much more compelling had it not been completely spoiled by the marketing. This movie completely wastes not only the Serpent Society as villains, but Giancarlo Esposito as an amazing actor. Joaquin Torres, aka the Falcon, is written extremely poorly in this movie. Every joke he makes literally sounds like it was written by Joss Whedon. Sam's durability in this movie makes no sense at all. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they make a big deal about Sam, now as Captain America, refusing to take the super soldier serum. Something that's actually really exciting and interesting because there's not many just regular guys running around in the MCU. And at the start of this movie, Sam gets kicked and he breaks a rib, and it actually does slow him down, which is really interesting. But then, midway through this movie, Sam gets shot and stabbed multiple times and he brushes it off and seems like nothing happened. And then at the very end of this movie, he's fighting the Red Hulk. So what is it? Does he have the super soldier serum or not? The leader looks disgusting, and I don't know why they didn't just go with the original design, because that looked way better. And finally, the thing that completely undermines any positive thing about this movie is that they put the character of Sabra, a Israel Secret Service agent and former Tel Aviv police officer, in this movie. There are over 80,000 characters in Marvel Comics, and they chose to put literal Captain Israel in this movie at a time when in real life, Israel is committing a genocide against Palestinians. The same year that this movie was released, a report came from the United Nations that concluded that Israel is guilty of committing genocide. Despite these MCU movies being for everybody, it's undeniable that a large portion of the audience and what the marketing is catered to is children. And they still put Sabra in this movie despite UNICEF reporting that Israel is responsible for killing or injuring more than 50,000 children since 2023. Even though the filmmakers cut the movie of pretty much any mention of Israel and cut a lot of the characters' screen time, it still ruins this movie for me. And it sucks because I know that these movies are huge collaborative efforts and that it takes a lot of people putting in a lot of work to make these films and these movies the end product that is produced. But I think that there's a line, and in the midst of an ongoing genocide, that line is far crossed. And for myself, and I think a lot of people, when we hear the word Israel, I think of dead kids. And that's not something that, number one, I'm gonna watch as entertainment, and number two, support in any way. All in all, Captain America comes in at 4th out of 4 on my 2025 comic book rankings. And if I had to describe the film in a few words, I would simply say it is wannabe Winter Soldier. And that's all for this video. If you want to see the next ranking, follow me. I'll be posting that soon. If you liked this and you want to see more, you can follow me on YouTube at Brexton's Thought Bubble, where everything gets posted there first. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have a ranking, share that with me, and I hope you have a good day.